Alright, you may have wondered what the Indian rail system is like for an overnight trip, so I'm going to give you a glimpse into a non-air-conditioned first-class sleeper. I'm going to call these little compartments rooms, and on this train there are several of those rooms. There's like 3 down that way and 6 or 7 down that way. In each room you've got 6 beds. The middle one folds out, and during the day when you're just sitting, everybody sits down on this bottom rack right here, so you'll have 3 people down there and 3 people on this side as well. It's a little cramped, but I mean, it's somewhere to sleep and relax while you're riding. On the opposite side, there are 2 beds. When I made our reservations, I chose to have the 2 side beds so that we didn't have to bother with 3Z hanging out with us or have to sleep in the middle of 2 other people or anything like that, and I thought that was a great idea. We got on the train and we were so happy that we didn't have to deal with that. But then we realized that the light in ours is the only one on the train aside from one other that stays on at all times. So I had to build a fort in my room, in my bed, so that I could at least have some sort of non-sunshine the entire time. Then, you see this puddle that is on the ground. Eric was in the lower bunk, and the rain just started coming in through the windows, and there's pretty much no way to close the windows. So him and his stuff got wet, and this puddle seriously goes all the way down there to the end of the train, and people put their stuff underneath the bottom bed. So people's stuff is getting wet and they don't know about it, and that's really shitty. It's really shitty that the windows don't close all the way in general. Like, comfort is important. You should be able to turn off the light, and you should be able to close the window and keep yourself dry. Why would you pay for anything else? But other than that, it's been alright. Nobody's been annoying, and I got 2 hours of sleep on our 13-hour journey.
So this is kind of what it looks like here in Varanasi, and it's just a tangle of streets like this, and it's very easy to get lost, and there's cattle everywhere, and this particular cattle, she's leaking. You can smell.
She pulled his tail.
She's trying to get that cow to move. And some of the cows are really skinny, but some of them are really well fed. So down on the horizon there is the Ganges River, not very far, I mean, like, 50 yards from here, and all this wood is different types of wood that they use for cremations, and when they have a body, they march it through the streets like on this, we saw this a couple nights ago actually in a different town, but they will march it through the streets on a, it's like a stretcher, a stretcher with a bunch of like fabrics and stuff around it. And then they will bring it down here and they'll dip it in the Ganges, and that's like a holy river for them. And then they will take and they will get these different types of wood and they will put it on the body, and then they will burn the body. And we think that is going on near us. Actually, you can see the smoke, but don't really think it's appropriate to show that. So I was just showing all of the utilities that they have.
So we just got done seeing. It was my first cremation. Was it your first cremation?
And that up close, I think so.
All right. We just went on a walk. We were going towards a ghat which we can't find, and a man came up and told us that there were cremations going on. and we're surrounded by all of this wood. And we had read earlier that these stacks of wood, each different type of wood costs a different amount for the cremation of the family who's cremating someone. So there's different types of wood, bamboo, sandalwood, just tons of different woods around us, and you can see smoke billowing above us. So we look at the guy, and he doesn't look that legit, but we decide to go anyways with him. He takes us up to like this overview, and you can see that there are 6 cremations going on at one time down there, like 6 people next to each other all being cremated at the same time, and that was pretty alarming. Most of them you can't really see any remains of anything. One of them you could actually see the person. I mean, they were wrapped up and stuff, so you can't really see like faces or anything like that, but you know that that's essentially what you are. That's just a human there. So that was kind of an eye-opener. The entire time that we're down there, soot and ash are just coming up, and it's in my hair now apparently, which is that's dead people. Anyways, the guy told us that for burial or for cremations like that, only men are allowed to come because men do not cry, and there's an old story of a woman whose husband died early, and she ended up throwing herself in the fire as well. So women cry and throw themselves in fire, so they cannot come. But I got to go, which was pretty cool. He wanted donations from us, which is a little odd because, I mean, you're watching somebody's burial, and he's asking you for a donation to the hospice that helps people who have just come to Varanasi to die. Like, they come here to die and be put into the holy river.
Hey, quick note. I read that if you die in Varanasi, you get released from reincarnation.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. So people are hoping to be not having to go through rebirth again. So we ended up giving the guy 200 rupees, which is about $4, and he asked us for a whole lot more, and we realized it was going to be a high-pressure cremation sale, and I just told him that we were saving up for our own burial or whatever. That was my way of getting out of that. He took us up to another platform that had like probably 6 or 7 more bodies that were being cremated under bamboo and several other types of wood, and you're on like a platform where you can only stand like maybe 6 feet away from the cremations, and the heat is so intense. Like, we just instantly started sweating, and that guy's around it all the time. He's just sitting there like it's nothing. Like, we're not standing next to the sun. And it was really hot. It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be, because I kind of expected it to make me really sad, but it just looks like that's what everybody does, and this makes them happy that they can let their family members depart in this area of all places in the world. Another cool thing that they did was one of the family members will take a clay pot down to the river and they'll fill it with water. And once the cremation is done, and while the embers are still burning a little bit, they'll stand backwards to the cremation and throw the pot over their heads. And that says, the cremation is finished, you can move on, goodbye. So we saw that as well, which was pretty cool. And those are cremations here in Varanasi, which is pretty famous for that.
In the evenings in Varanasi, you can weave your way through the maze of streets and find your way down to the river. And some of the ghats have ceremonies that they are performing, and this is something that happens on a nightly basis. And it's just something for the people who are coming there for religious purposes or for cremations or whatever other reason Hindus go to that area. The whole experience has got this really strange mystic feeling, and it's real. It's not something that's like, in a movie or something. You're really seeing this type of stuff. So I don't want to use the word creepy because that's not right, but it definitely is something you would never see in the Western world. So this guest house we're staying at is pretty neat. These are Christmas lights type things that are hanging here, and this is a fake plant, and as you can see, it's opened all the way up to the ceiling area, or up under the roof, where you can see an overview of the city, and then all the way down. into the first floor. And we're on the 3rd floor, and Katie is gonna walk out on this and not fall through, right? Yeah, you're half on it. There you go. It's a little scary because you never know. We are in India.
This morning we've gotten up very early to go on a tour of the Ganges River and ride a boat. And the tour basically takes you past all the ghats that are along the Ganges. Since this is a spiritual river, it's covered in spiritual buildings, which really don't look like anything more than regular buildings. They just have the word ghat written on the side of them. And stairs going down to the river for easy access. We're not really sure what ghats are, aside from the few that we've seen that do cremations. Like this one right here, there's large stacks of wood, so we're assuming that they do cremations there, but it's not as busy as the last place that we went yesterday. So this is Varanasi, and this is what it is famous for. Several ghats. People are in front of their ghat of choice, bathing in the water, and from what we've read, this is some of the nastiest water. That it's just, I don't remember the figures, but there's a lot of stuff in this water that isn't in normal water, and there's a lot less of what should be in water not in this water. So this is the Ganges, and that is the sunrise, and that is Eric. From our videos from yesterday, this building right here is where we were, and now you're seeing it from the water. That smoke is cremations that there's probably 8 or 9 going on in that little area right there, and that's where the intense heat was, where you can see the smoke coming up. Down by the water they have cremations as well, but it looks like they don't have many going on right now. It does kind of look like the creepiest place in the world. Like this building right here, the guy told us that that's where people are waiting to die, in that scary building. And it sounded like he was going to take us there, and we were like, we don't really want to go see the people that are waiting to die. That's not our cup of tea. We'll watch them burn, but we're not watching them go, I guess. So that's where we were yesterday, and sorry we can't get any better footage, but respect for the dead. You gotta do it. We found out that from yesterday until next month, since this is the city of Shiva, there's a Shiva festival where they march the streets with these colorful bars. On the end of each bar is a little bucket, as you can see right here. They fill that with water from the Ganges, and I'm assuming once they get to the Golden Temple, which I can't pronounce in their language, they release that water at the temple, I guess. We haven't seen them at that temple at all, so orange is the color of choice.
So we were rolling down the road in this tuk-tuk, and this guy hopped in, and he's a police officer, just randomly. So we've got all this, like, you know, really populous stuff going on. Lots and lots of people are here and whatnot. And this thing right here, there was just like a 20-year-old guy just standing there urinating in the open.